Hey y'all, today we are talking January 25th, 2025. Berryessa, of course.
Yeah.
Only because of the tag system. About to be Clear Lake here coming up soon. Weather-wise, it was windy all night and the day before. And we never went out to Main Lake, stayed in the Narrows, but had a pretty good day from it.
Yeah, definitely.
So definitely worth the day for
Yeah.
sure.
Well, just to get out is a bonus.
Yeah, better than being home.
Yes.
Water temperature was mid 50s, saw from 54 to 56, somewhere in that ballpark. And clouds. What was the clouds? Cloudy? Partly cloudy.
Partly cloudy.
And then it broke into mostly sun in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Basically, to get on it, where'd we start out at?
We started out in the back of a cove. We went to a cove right off the
right.
jump, and we went all the way to the back just to, side scan, see what was going on. And you found some fish back there, and we stopped and you started fishing.
Yeah, while graphing on the way back in there, started picking up stuff on side scan and was like, "Oh, let's check this out." Went into the back of it. There was grass in the back,
Yep.
healthy grass in the back, and missed a couple of chances on some big fish that were back in there, and then decided to move our way back out because they kind of got wise to us being there. And on the way back out, I picked up an A-rig and started picking up some fish. And the A-rig, these are quarter ounce. I have 3 quarter ounces on there. This is a Flash Mob Junior. And the colors are either rainbow shad. I think actually they're all rainbow shad. There is a threadfin teaser on there.
That one in the middle is a bluegill flash.
Oh, there is a bluegill flash. I was looking at them. But bluegill flash. And then the rainbow shads. These are 3.3s. These are 2.8 teasers. Basically, picked those up and stabbed myself in the hand. And started slow rolling that thing in like 20 foot to 30 foot.
Yeah.
And then came across a point with like a rock outcropping off the end of that point. Deep rock outcropping. That's going to be the key to it right now, is deep rock. And rolling up there, and boom, almost 3-pounder picked up. And that kind of clued us in or reestablished what we already knew.
Right.
And then we decided to move spots from there. And then when we moved spots, I threw up shallow with an A-rig. I got knocked slack, missed it. And then you went to town.
Yeah, I had a slow morning. He was catching the fish, and then I pulled out old trusty Rusty and I went to work. Where we went to was a Main Lake type point, like in the Narrows, but the wind was blowing right up against it.
Yeah.
Right. It was, maybe it's something that you should think about, right? Bait getting blown up there, but there was fish up there.
Wind blown bank.
Wind blown bank. I threw up the good old deal, 4-inch Z-Man Ned rig, the big TRD, and it didn't even touch the bottom, and I had a 392 spot. Inhale it. That was the first fish I put on the boat. Yeah. So almost a 4-pound fish on a Ned rig. I ain't gonna complain.
No, solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
And we continued working down that bank, and then found another rock outcropping that went down into the water pretty deep, and there was fish on it. And again, I threw up with that Ned rig and got a 330 to eat. So
back on the almost 4 was actually kind of shallow, probably 10 foot or less, 15 at most.
Yeah.
And then the other outcropping was like 20, 30, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah. And we were sitting where we were bouncing it up the bank, and we threw some other things at it. You threw a jig rig.
I threw a jig rig with a crawdad bait on there, and then I also threw a 6-inch a 6-inch robo worm on a dart head, on the Bass Union dart head with the 2-aught dart head. And I actually did not get bit. And it was kind of interesting. That's the first time that he's been throwing a Ned rig that I haven't been able to at least get a bite.
Right.
From throwing a dart head. So for some reason they wanted that bigger profile, that sturdier profile, and didn't want that narrower 6-inch. I don't know if it's just because it was longer or what. Yeah. I did switch over at some point by the end of the day to a 4-inch on a regular 1/0 one, and I still didn't get bit. So I'm not quite sure on that. Yeah. But that Ned rig, there is on that wind blown bank, there was some fish suspended up against the surface or up in the surface in search mode, and they would come flying in after a scope bait or off a cricket tickling.
Yeah.
But they would not commit. They would peel off last minute. So it's kind of a weird mood for them. I've never seen them come in that hot and peel off, and just as soon as they peel off, they just start floating back down. They wouldn't even like run away. They just, oh, never mind.
Maybe
it was kind of a weird day.
Maybe it was the right color.
Either a color or something. If anybody has figured out how to get those fish, let me know. I haven't been able to get them to trigger the final trigger. But that was, again, a wind-blown bank where the wind was actually pushing everything into it. Then we wheeled around the corner, and before we got around the corner, you picked up another one.
Yeah, I picked up another one. And by this time, usually these Z-Man baits, they last a long time, but I'm using really small hooks on them, and I get them robbed every once in a while.
Short struck.
Yeah, short strike. So I got it robbed. So then I ran out of my 4-inch deals, and I went to the Gobi Bryant, which is a 4-inch. I actually really like this bait. It's got gold and purple flakes in it. And it was doing the same thing that the deal was. I was hooking fish and catching, right? Like, most of the time it was a mush bite, but
yeah, just load up.
Just load up. They had it engulfed.
I did have a couple of bites on that on the jig rig with the crawdad bait. They just didn't hook up.
Yeah.
One of them was the wind blowing and everything, completely missed. So that bite was still there. That jig bite was still there, but I just suck at fishing.
We rounded a corner and I picked up another fish further down from where we were at. I think I caught a couple more.
Yeah, a
down.
Couple and some missed bites on there too.
And then I hooked another fish, and James didn't want to get the net for me.
Hey, I asked if you wanted the net. You said no, so I didn't get it.
It's probably going to be in the video.
Turns out you needed the net. Yeah. You should have said yes.
It would have probably helped our limit.
Yeah, it would have helped our limit.
Yeah, it would have
for sure.
helped our limit.
It was kind of an interesting fun fact to that day is soon after that, while we were fishing, all of a sudden I could feel that the pressure change, and I could feel like I needed to pop my ears.
Yeah.
And then about 10 seconds after that, I was like, man, did you feel that pressure change? And he said he felt the same exact thing. And the weird thing is we did not change what we were doing, and all of our fish became short strikes. On the A-rig, it was a short strike. On the TRD, it was a short strike, and we never actually hooked another fish after that pressure change.
Yeah, you did take a nap, though.
I did take a nap, so, I mean, I may not have caught a fish, but I caught a nap.
Yeah.
Always a good time.
Definitely.
But overall for the day, I would say our hardest workers was that A-rig and the TRD, and that's either Gobi Bryant or Deal. And that was the 4-inch TRD.
Yeah, the 4-inch TRDs. The big turds.
That's basically it. Basically, if you're looking to catch fish right now, you are looking for something more main lake.
Yeah.
And a point with some sort of rock crop or outcropping on it.
Yeah. 100%.
Some sort of like shale rock or chunk rock or whatever that's on there. They seem to be related to that rock more than others. We did catch a smallmouth, a large, and a spot.
Grand Slam.
So they're all mixed inside of all of that. And then don't forget to play against the wind.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Anything I missed there?
No, I think that's it.
If you have any comments, ask them down below. You can always hit me up on Instagram. And until next time, I hope you get them.